Welcome to Caught in the Third Act. I'm Raymond, the host, creator, idea man, I guess, and I'm hoping that you're there somewhere. I know it's the first broadcast. This is the hardest one, I would think, because I have no viewership at this point. But hopefully that will change in the next few days, weeks, months. Who knows? But without a plan really for today, other than to start working on, or continue working on a story I've already started a few days ago. I'm just going to go ahead and type it up from what I've written, and that should be a good start for today, I think. Hopefully, there's somebody out there who will stop by and chat and harass me, give me some ideas, or just poke fun at me. I'm fine with that too. Today's story was kind of popped into my head when I was eating lunch with my roommate a couple weeks back. Essentially, it's a cybertech or cyberpunk noir-based detective story, and I'm hoping that it'll turn out all right. So I'm just going to go ahead and start typing this in here, and when I get to the end of what I've written, I'll just start making shit up. Yes, I did just curse, so we'll see. Anyhow, let's see how this all goes. Ah. The primary character of this is a woman by the name of Tomoko Ishihara. Or, I'm sorry, Isahara, as I'm reading it here. She is our primary hero. I did typo quite a bit here. And what I'll do is go ahead and get the paragraph formatting set up on this as well. Just because I like to see it nicely formatted and makes it easy to identify one paragraph from another right off the bat. Which means I should do that. In future episodes, I'm hoping that there will be a lively discussion on chat that I can get tips from, ideas from, or just a few laughs from. I hope you guys will be out there watching, enjoying this, and just having fun. If you're not, I'm going to be so crushed. We don't want that, do we? No, I don't think we do. So please watch. Please chat. Don't leave me hanging here. Remember, I want you to help me write a story, whether it's a book or a short story. I want you to be a part of this. This is not just all me grandstanding. I've never grandstanded, stood, whatever, in my life, and I'm not starting today. So please, please come and watch. Please help me. Let's see where this can go. Investigator's license. I envision Sentinel to be kind of like Siri or Google Assistant, a artificial intelligence-based system that pervades her entire apartment, essentially, or office, depending on where she is. Follows her around on her cell phone, etc. Essentially, a complete system that's customized and tailored to her. I imagine that everyone who has even a cell phone service in this particular future would have something along those lines. Each one can be named whatever and completely tailored to your own individual tastes and needs. And Sentinel, in her case, is more or less a English noblewoman, essentially, that provides information for her and provides access to her files and data. I thought about going for something along the lines of Alfred, but that's almost cliche. So flipped it a little bit and made me the interaction female instead of male. I even wrote in my notes that it's an Englishman's voice as opposed to Englishwoman's voice, but that's changing pretty much right now. I changed my mind a couple days ago. I'm keeping the whole idea of Englishwoman because, well, frankly, I love the accent. I hate it when I can't read my own handwriting. Hey, I thought I'd vote a lot more than I did. I guess I didn't. Looks like I will be improvising a lot sooner than I thought. Okay. Well, so far, 11 minutes in, and I haven't made a complete fool of myself, or at least I don't feel like I have. What do you think? Well, hello there, Laura. I see you retracted your message. I would appreciate it if you didn't. I want to know what you're thinking. There's some things you can't hide. I want to know what you're feeling. Tell me what's on your mind. Yes, I'm looking at you. That's right. I could still look at you, I think. I can, but I wasn't paying attention to the chat window at the time. Sorry about that. Ah, Bob and then Green about the English accents. Yeah, I think that English accents are pretty awesome. I wish I had more exposure to them. I think everybody needs a lot of exposure to them. Maybe that would mellow everybody out and make the world a better place. And so, as I'm writing here, yeah, I wish I could actually meditate, period, let alone for 2 hours. But Tomoko here has a neural wireless interface. She doesn't really need to speak to Sentinel verbally, but she does it out of habit and tradition. She could just silently will whatever to happen, because that's the beauty of neural interfaces and artificial intelligent assistants. But she gets a little lonely. She lives alone. She works alone. She likes to have someone to talk to, essentially. And just issuing commands mentally probably would get pretty lonely all the time. At least that's what I would think. She misses the human connection even when she's working a case. Indeed, humans. Yeah, because I don't have the chat up here, I'll read this comment from Laura. I gotta think that having a setup like a neural interface, it's probably way easier to make connections than it is with just computer files. Overall, yeah, I would think so too. I think that it would be trivial to share a great deal of information and express who you are to even another person through a neural interface and just dump the data to the other person than it would be to speak and get to know them. But that takes the mystery out of life, and frankly, it dehumanizes people, makes us more machines than people. And I would rather keep the human element here, even if it is a little more accelerated. I imagine that there will be characters in this story or in this world that do just dump their entire romantic history to their first date, to their blind date on their first date or something to that effect. And you get to know someone very quickly that way, or at least could. Although I imagine a human would have a lot more difficulty sorting through all that information than a computer would. So you would receive somebody's brain dump essentially of who they are, their interests, their preferences, and so forth. And then you'd still kind of be sorting through that like, what? You like peanut butter? Why? It's nasty. But, you know, it's an interesting idea. Of course, doing work would be a lot simpler this way. As Tomoko is just doing her job here, or recording her case file, she's just collating the facts and putting them in order, and essentially telling the basic story about what happened and letting Sentinel sort it all out into a fully functional and complete report that someone else could either download or read. So that is kind of what I want in this sort of story. People using it more for an assistant as opposed to replacing entire sections of their life. But we'll see. I'm not sure about this. It's still an early story and it's going to evolve. So we'll see exactly how and where this goes. Can you see the text that I'm typing very well? Is it clear? Okay. Well, I guess that depends on the device that you're actually reading on, I guess. But I can always increase the font size a bit. That's just slightly better. Is that, or bigger? Is that any better? Well, that's true. I've seen your monitor. It is giant. But I think it might look okay on other people's devices as well. And if not, well, I can always work on that down the road. You just saw one of my bad habits. Rather than just going back and inserting an E in this particular location, I have a tendency to delete entire words or the majority of a word once I've made a mistake to go and correct it, and then I retype it. That's really a nasty habit, but I'll work on that down the road as well. I've had this habit for over 20 years. Damn. I hate it when I have a word right on the tip of my tongue and I can't think of it. And the sad thing is, my day job uses this word quite a bit. Implementing and damn it. Well, I'll have to come back to that word. I'm going to put in what it essentially means, but I'll have to come back because I do not want to use revise in this particular case. Damn it. Not irritating, although this hunt for this word at the moment is irritating. Really should use a thesaurus. But, you know, I've bought a thesaurus over the years, and I've never used it. Then I lose it. Not that. Reworking, improving, amending, new, starts with an I. Oh well. Yeah, integrating isn't it either. Iterate. Iterate. I don't know why that was so hard for me to remember. You were fairly close, yeah. Closer than I was with revise, so well played. And let me just make this clear, this last statement. Siri, Google Now, or Assistant, whichever it is on your particular device, Alexa on the Amazon products, and a lot of other of these artificial intelligence smart assistants are nothing but toys at this point. They're useful in some respects, but they're toys. They're not really very good at doing anything serious. Um, I think that in the future they will be very useful, and I think they're cool to play with right now. I certainly play with them. Uh, I have a Google Home right now. I have Android phones and tablets, and I play with the Google Assistant all the time. But it's a toy. I turn on my lights with it. That's the most useful thing I do with any of these assistants. I routinely feel weird talking to them. I occasionally have it play music in my bedroom or something, but it's nothing but a toy right now. Sooner or later, it will get to the point where it's actually useful, where you can hold an actual conversation with it. That's ultimately the goal of the Turing test. Alan Turing. If you don't know anything about him, look him up. There was a film about him a few years ago. I can't think of the name of that film either. I'm sure Laura will point it out to me in a moment. But basically, computers and artificial intelligence will get to the point where they're actually useful. And they're useful for lots of other things, not the smart assistants, but the actual intelligence applications or machine learning applications. The imitation game, thank you. They're very useful for helping revise designs on parts in computers or cars and airplanes and so forth. But when it comes to getting anything done in your home, they're not useful at this point because they have no real interaction with your devices. They can turn it on, they can turn it off. That's about as far as it goes. They can't tell you whether your clothes are still wet in your dryer or not, or whether the clothes got clean in the washer. They can't move the clothes from the washer to the dryer, unless it's one of those combo washer dryers that's one and the same in the same device, same machine. And even then, I doubt that it can really tell you whether your clothes are fully clean and dry. But we'll see. I imagine that in, say, those self-driving cars, especially with Google's, there will be a smart assistant within there, and you can just tell it, hey, take me to this location, this address, and it'll drive you there. That's the start of real intelligent devices and assistants. But we're not there yet. And I think it'll still be a while before we have it so prevalent that it's actually useful. Nonetheless, it'll be an interesting time. I think it'll be a very interesting time. But we have to wait a while before we get to that useful stage. And if you'll pardon me just for a moment, I do have a commercial. Stay tuned. I'll be right back. If you're interested in supporting this broadcast, you may do so in several ways. You may make a donation via PayPal at the address shown. You may send Bitcoin to this address. Finally, I am an independent agent for Stream Energy, which offers energy services in 8 states and the District of Columbia, wireless service in 49 states, and a whole host of protective services. Stream offers services that you already use and need. The difference is you'd be buying these as a customer from a mine, rather than from a faceless corporation. In fact, you too can become an independent agent and become your own boss. For more information and to sign up as a Stream customer or independent agent, visit the address on your screen. Thank you. And I'm back. I hope that wasn't too jarring. Did the sound come through okay on that? Alright, that's good to know. I'll have to work on that. My best guess is the sound probably play directly through the speakers here in my lovely living room, and you probably picked up the microphone, picked them up on the microphone instead of it going through the stream like it should have. So in the future, hopefully that will be okay. I should have checked that out. It's one of the many things that I probably should have checked out a little bit better while setting everything up here. But I didn't quite get that far yet. So something for the future. Hmm. Maybe inventing a word right here. Not sure if manipulatable is an actual word. So far, it seems to be completely made up. There, that solves that. It seems more technical as well. Sometimes you just gotta go for it. Invent new words, or invent clever jargon, or use and abuse jargon and words to accomplish what you want in writing. Sometimes it's necessary. Haha, thank you. So I was right initially with the A and then backed off, huh? Backed off into error. I don't know. I would think, well, maybe links are disabled in the chat options are here. I could take a look. But it doesn't really matter. I'd rather just move on as opposed to worry about the spelling. Once you corrected it, it's good enough in my book. But thank you. Spelling of the word is the most important. I don't really need a link to it because I'll take your word for it, and I can always look it up later. That goes for everybody else too. Spelling words is hard. Okay. Word, why do you not like meditation? Did I spell it wrong? Yes, I did. Extra I. Writing is weird. I like it. It's quite a bit of fun. But at the same time, you bang your head on the same issues over and over again, and you want to advance it. You think that you should be able to write 1,000,000 pages in a day, but when it actually comes down to putting words on virtual paper, it can actually be quite difficult. And it's really odd trying to do it while someone's watching. This means you, but I'm not going to stop. I'm trying to be both entertaining and creative at the same time, and not sure if I'm pulling it off too well. But, hey, that's life. And I apologize here now and for all future broadcasts if I suddenly get quiet and start thinking about things. What's that face all about? I apologize right now if I just get quiet while I think about something for a few minutes, but I'll try not to go too long without at least talking to you. Staring at me? Oh God! They're watching me! Ah! Jiro, 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 Jiro. Yes, I'm very paranoid. Leave me alone. I've never wanted to be in the spotlight. Never wanted to be the star of anything. In groups, I tend to blend into the back. That's just who I am. And yet here I am, all alone. No one watching me, or rather, no one here with me, sitting in front of a camera, trying to do something new. I'm stretching myself, getting out of my comfort zone. That's part of the whole point of this. But I don't know. Oh, and by the way, I'm not that smart. So if I look like an idiot, it's because I am an idiot. So don't worry about that too much. Just try to enjoy the show anyway. Let's see here. Oh, one thing I do want to do with the actual story that I hope to develop here, with your help, is that at the very least, I don't know if the hero is going to be female, but the villain is going to be a female that is doing it for the hell of it, doing it because she wants to be the villain. She's not doing it because she had a bad relationship, or to get back at someone, or to capture some guy's attention, or because she was molested or as a child, or anything along those lines. She's doing it because that's who she wants to be. She's tired of being just overlooked, taken advantage of, or whatever. She's tired of being disregarded. She just wants to do it to do it. She wants to be the bad guy. I've always loved villains who love being a villain, who want to be the bad guy, who are aware of the situation and don't mind just fucking with the program. You know, upsetting other people to upset other people, to change the establishment because they want to do that. And that's what she's going to be. That's why I click with Gru in Despicable Me. He loved being the villain. And I loved that kind of attitude. You know, he's sure in later movies he's now the hero, but he started off as a villain and loved being the villain. That's something that I can respect. I don't know why I can respect it, but I can respect it. So keep that in mind. Come up with whatever ideas you have for a story and the plot, and we'll meet in the middle and we'll get this shit done. Let's see. But yeah, I don't want a weak-willed female villain who's doing it because she depends on someone else. No. She's doing it because she wants to do it. That's much more interesting, I think. I figure Tomoko meets pretty much all of her clients in her apartment, saves the cost of actually renting apartment or office space, and allows her to keep an eye on both home as well as business at the same time. The downside, of course, is that if someone's coming to rough her up or something, they know exactly where to find her day or night. Unless, of course, she's out on a case. Yeah, offices are crazy expensive to rent. Both now and I'm sure even worse in the future. Stupid real estate prices. Yeah, I'm figuring that this world is pretty much overpopulated. It's roughly 2125. Um, I believe that they probably have between 9 and 10 billion people on Earth at that point. Although it's only 9 to 10 billion people because the moon has been colonized, Mars has been colonized, and humanity is pushing further out. And once the colonization process has been begun, uh, mass amounts of people have moved to the other worlds. I don't know how high you can safely build a high rise, although there are talks about building skyscrapers over half a mile high, which is 2,600 feet. I don't think anything's exceeded 1,000 feet at this point, although I'd have to look that up. Yeah, that would be kind of crazy to have a half mile tall building, but weirder things have been discussed. They're talking about sky hooks as well, essentially buildings that are hanging, not actually mounted to the ground, but hanging in orbit from essentially orbiting satellites or asteroids and kind of hanging down into the atmosphere. And that should be interesting, though I can't imagine why anybody would actually want to live in something that could actually come crashing down at any moment. Yeah, I imagine swaying in the breeze would be a big issue. Already, skyscrapers sway up to 30 or 40 feet at the top if a good gust of wind comes along. But supposedly, for the most part, you never notice it. But that's kind of crazy. As we're reaching the end of this first hour, I'm hoping that everyone here, everyone watching, will come back. I appreciate everyone. Appreciate you being here. Thank you, Laura. Thank you, everyone else out there. And yes, I think I'd notice a house moving 40 or 50 feet, but when you're looking out a window and you're looking down several hundred feet, you may not even notice that it's moving that 40 feet. But it's a scary thought nonetheless. But, thank you, everyone. This is Caught in the Third Act. I'm hoping to do this initially every 2 weeks or so. And if I get a regular viewership, I imagine I could move it up to being more frequent, say once a week, every Saturday perhaps. But at this point, I'm thinking every 2 weeks. So the next time you'd see me would be, I think that's going to be around March 9th. March 10th. I did a pretty good job guessing there. So we shall see. I hope you'll all come back. Go to caughtinthethirdact.com and join the site, post some comments there. Tell me what you'd like to see. Tell me what you'd have in mind for a story. Tell me if there's anything in particular you would like in a story or what you want to have written. Let me know how you think this broadcast went. Good, bad, ugly. Tell me to fuck off if you like. I don't care. Just participate. I can only improve with your help. So get to it. Get busy. Come on back. And let me know, both here on YouTube as well as on that site, what you think. And let me know how I did. In the meantime, I hope you have a great 2 weeks. Hope you have a great day today. Take care and keep on writing. Ta ta.